A war is beginning in this country for culture. The first figurative shots have already been fired. This Florida idiots, Florida morons hashtag was just the beginning. I had an experience at a local hardware store yesterday that I would like to share with you that is a microcosm of what's really happening all across this country. And it's going to dovetail with another issue people have brought to my channel about some imagery that I'm using that they don't approve of. But let's get to the story. I had related in last night's video that I haven't slept on anything but an air mattress in quite some time for health benefits. Not only do I sleep better on an air mattress, regular classical mattresses, no matter how much you try, end up being a trap for sweat, for dirt, for bugs, for anything. And there's really no way around it. And unless you can physically inspect it before you bring it home, you don't know. So for me, personally, my choice is an air mattress. And like I said, I sleep better on them. The one I had been sleeping on was many years old and had developed different leaks, and I had tried to patch it. It became a war that I couldn't win. So I decided just to ditch that one and go get a new one. Got online, I checked Lowe's, checked Home Depot, checked Walmart, checked everywhere. So I decided to go to, and I'll leave the name of the hardware store out of it because it really has nothing to do with them. Went to my first choice location and grabbed a cart and walked in and found the places where I thought the air mattress might be, and it wasn't there. And so I asked one of their representatives, and they said, yeah, we don't really have them. I know it says online that we do. I'm sorry. No big deal. Was walking toward the exit, and I saw a couple little things that I also needed, so I grabbed them up, tossed them in the little seat part, and checked out. And as I was leaving, this guy with a thick New York accent saw these few little things that could have easily been hand carried in my cart. And he said, hey, buddy, I notice you're not wearing a mask. You really think you needed that cart? I'm like, really? This is interesting. I'm like, the mask part I just let go. And so I just looked at him like, can you say it again? He's like, do you really think you needed to be pushing that cart around? People got to go, touch that thing, and you didn't need to be touching it just for those few little things. Now, in my younger days, I might have reacted differently. But I calmly explained to him I had planned to purchase something much larger, and they didn't have it. And just left it be. Now, I know a lot of you are already like, I would have done this, and believe me, I felt like it. I really felt like it. But I had to think about it for a minute. I really did. Who the hell did this guy think he was? Just walking up to some random person and asking them their business. You do that in New York, it's trouble. But you see, they don't see us down here as equals to them. They don't see us as of the same caliber as they are. And believe me when I tell you, if it got down to a, pardon the term, to a shit-eating contest, Texas notwithstanding, we would feed any other state in this country their lunch if you wanted to get into that kind of a contest. Because we have a value system down here that not a lot of people agree with. And this is where it dovetails with some of the imagery that I've used that people don't approve of. You see, there are things out there called dangerous ideas. And any idea that is not dangerous is unworthy of being called an idea at all. Oscar Wilde. Some people have come to me and said, why do you show the scantily clad women? We didn't start it. Let me be very clear. We didn't start it. Prior to this issue, I never showed images like this. Prior to this issue, other than teaching about what was going on with Fox News and the Fox News babes, I never used images like this. But the entire East Coast, north of North Carolina, has decided that they want to pick a fight with Florida and Florida culture. I've had to delete and block about 50 people in the last week because there's a truth about this that a lot of you don't want to get. Any girl who puts on something like this and goes out in public is telling you that she trusts the men around her. Let me say that again. Any girl who goes out in public dressed like this shows that she trusts the men around her. And that's the culture part of Florida that most people can't wrap their head around from the Northeast. We have faith in each other. We believe in each other. We stand together. Nothing is more dangerous than an idea when it's the only one you have. I would add that if you are the only person having that idea. And we have that idea down here. We have those dangerous ideas like all men are created equal. You know what another dangerous idea was? Women should have the right to vote. All great ideas at one time were dangerous. And this is the dangerous ideal that the rest of the country seethes at, that they're angry about. How can those people just go walk on those beaches dressed like that and enjoy their lives? They've hated that idea about us for a long time, and now it's coming to a head with this coronavirus bullshit. We've known for a long time what they're just now discovering. That if you want to live a happy and healthy and fulfilling lifestyle, it's going to involve you exercising, being outside, and being in the sun. You can try to replicate it inside a gym as much as you can. And I've got nothing against the guys that want to lift weights, but in a gym. But we had a culture back in the 80s and into the early 90s to some extent where guys lifted weights out on the beach, out in the sun. And there was something about it that's different than being trapped in a climate-controlled environment. I can't really quantify it for you about lifting weights and working out outside versus inside. There is just something different about it. I don't know whether it's the mixture of the sunshine and the sweat or the fresh oxygen or what it is. But this was an attack on Floridian culture. See, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Florida is the individual, the tribe is the other 49. If you try it, you'll be lonely, often, and sometimes frightened, but no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Friedrich Nietzsche. This is a sign of trust. When women in Florida decide to throw on a bikini and go out and get some sun and have a good time and enjoy themselves, it is a token of trust that they give to the men of Florida, and we recognize it and we value it. That's why we don't have a problem down here. You would think, based on the amount of girls in bikinis running around, you would see more of a problem regarding that, but you don't, do you? This is the dirty little secret that the rest of, especially the Northeast, doesn't want you to know. There are people that confuse individualism with selfishness. There are people who confuse individualism with selfishness. It's our state. We'll do whatever the hell we want to do. That's up to us. No one in New York or Washington, D.C. is going to tell us what to do. And if it gets down to it, if it really gets down to it, it doesn't matter the size, the shape, the color. We will fight. We value all people. We value all people who want to be healthy. We value all people. We value all ideas. But we have a culture that says that there is a healthy way of living and there is a not healthy way of living. There is a reason the coronavirus hit New York and didn't hit Florida, and that's the big lie that they don't want gotten out. There is a reason that so many perished in New York, but did not in a state with a greater population, not only in total, but also of elderly people. More elderly people live in Florida, more people in total live in Florida than New York, and their numbers crushed ours. In sickness, in death, in hospitalizations, and every other way. And it has to do with a culture of a healthy lifestyle that includes being outside, exercising, exposing yourself to the sun, and just letting life be what life can be. There was a time here in this country hundreds of years ago when the first settlers came in the 1500s. They landed anywhere from Hilton Head all the way down to the coasts of Guyana and Brazil. And the reason I bring this up is that there were many who thought that they had found paradise. There were many who had thought that they had found the promised land because it was so beautiful. There were people in St. Augustine that thought they had found the fountain of youth because you drank the water there, and all of a sudden all of your health problems went away. You didn't live forever, but you lived happier. There was something different about it. And it was a culture that came from enjoying life that they hadn't experienced before in Europe. And there was a line from a deleted scene that I'd like to share with you guys today. And this is from The Patriot. It never made it into the movie. But it's some of the most poignant words that were said by any character ever. And I'm just going to play this real quick.
Beautiful country. Everything grows here.
Now, this was one of the big villains. But this was the general consensus of this new world. What a beautiful country. Everything grows here. See, not everything grew in England or Spain or France, but everything grew here. And when they said here, this is where they meant Hilton Head to Brazil, the Caribbean. And it created a culture, a very different culture than sprung up Jamestown and North in 1620. And that clash ended up being manifested later on in the 1800s in the War of Northern Aggression. So, I just wanted to share this with you. The North is still aggressive. Quite. And it's coming again. So be ready. Like, share, subscribe.